Hello student, welcome you to Mohan's classes. In this class we will learn about reading B of your Unit 2 sports. The name of the reading B or the title of reading B is The Peaceful Game. This is the reading B of Unit 2 sports and the name of the chapter is The Peaceful Game. In our day-to-day life, either in the school or at our home, we play many kinds of games and sports. Some of the games may be indoor or some of the games we play outdoor. Outdoor in the sense the games and sports which we play out of the home, those are called outdoor homes, and the games and sports which we play inside our home or at our home, those games are called what? Indoor games. So we have played or we play many kinds of games and sports. But today or in this class we will learn about a game and that is known as what? Peaceful game. So why this game is called peaceful and what is the game we will be learning in this class? Let us begin the poem. The Peaceful Game. I like to think chess is a courteous game. I play with my family and friends. I like to think chess is a peaceful game. Nobody gets hurt when it ends. So, in this stanza, it is said that I like to think chess is a courteous game. Here the poet says that he thinks chess is a courteous game. As I was talking you in the introduction part that the peaceful game. So which is the peaceful game? Chess is the peaceful game. You might have played or you play or you might have seen that chess. Those who have not seen, look at the image over here. This is the game called chess. And this game chess, it is a courteous game. What kind of game? Courteous game. What is the meaning of courteous? Look at the word meaning below over here. What is it? Courteous in the sense polite. That means chess is a polite or peaceful game. I play it with family and friends. The poet says that he play with whom? With family and friends. That means poet says that this game is played with family and friends. That means we can play with family or friends because it is a courteous game. Next line, I like to think chess is a peaceful game. And here the poet says that he thinks chess is a peaceful game. It is a peaceful. Why this game is called a peaceful game? Look at the line below. Nobody gets hurt when it ends. The reason behind he says that this is a peaceful game is nobody gets hurt or injury when the game is over or game is completed. That means without any injury, without any hurting, without any disturbance, this game ends. That's why the poet named this game as a peaceful game. So, what we will learn from this stanza? This stanza will learn that the poet thinks that chess is a courteous game and he played this game with his family as well as his friends. And the poet thinks that chess is a peaceful game. Why? Because when he plays chess, nobody get hurt or get injury when the game overs or when game ends. That's why he named this poem as the peaceful game. Second stanza, I never distract my opponent. I don't want to act like a pest. I hope they behave in the very same way, so both of us play at our best. In this second stanza, the poet says that I never distract my opponent. What is the meaning of distract? Look at the word meaning over here. Distract in the sense divert or divert attention. That means when the poet play the peaceful game chess, he never divert the attention of his opponent. Who is the opponent or what is the meaning of opponent? Look at the meaning here. The player of the opposite team. The player of the opposite team is called what? Opponent. That means in this line it is said that I never distract my opponent. That means when the poet plays chess, he never divert the attention of the players of the opposite team. Next line, I don't want to act like a pest. So what is the meaning of pest? Pest in the sense it is insect. So here the poet says that while he plays the peaceful game chess, he doesn't want to act like an insect, or he doesn't want to do like a backbite or like a enemy. Next line, I hope they behave in the very same way. That means here the poet says that as he doesn't distract his opponent or divert the attention of opposite player, and he doesn't want to act like an insect, and he in the sense the poet also expect the same way or the same behave from the opponent or the players of the opposite team. Next line, so both of us play at our best. Here the poet says that in this way both of us, that means the poet as well as the player of the opposite team, they play at their best. In this stanza we learn that the poet says that he never divert the attention of the players of the opposite team, and he doesn't want to act like a insect or pest, and he says that as he behave politely, in the same way he also expect from the player of opposite team, and at last he conclude or he says that in this way both of them, that means the poet as well as the players of the opposite team, they play at their best. Third stanza, I know chess is not only gentle, it is more like a war or a fight. I always shake hands at the start and the end, so both of us play at our best. Here in this stanza the poet says that I know chess is not really gentle. So here the poet is saying that chess is not a really gentle, not a what's a polite or easy. Then what he says, it's more like a war or a fight. That means chess is just like a war or a fight, because we know that in the chess we have the king, we have the queen, we have the elephant, we have the horses, so all this, and we have the soldiers, etc. So that means all these things are used in the war and fight only. So each person, like a soldiers, elephant and horses, they are used for the fight, and they saved or take care of the king and queens. So that's why here the poet says that it is not a gentle game. It seems like a war or a fight. Next line says, I always shake hands at the start and the end. That means when the poet or any of the player who play chess, when they begin the game, both of them shake their hands. In the same way, when the game ends or when the game over, again both players they shake their hands. So both of us play at our best. In this way, the poet says that both of the player, that means the poet as well as the player of the opposite team, they play at their best. In this stanza, we learn that here the poet says chess is just not a gentle game. It seems like a war or fight. And the poet says that in the beginning and at the end of the game, both of them, that means the poet as well as the player of opposite team, they shake their hands. In this way, both of them play the game at their best. Fourth stanza. On the board we were enemies, off the boards we are friends. On the board there is never peace, but off the board I hope for peace that never ends. In the first line it is said that on the board we are enemies. That means when both of the players, that means poet and the players of the opposite team, when they played, so on the board, that means as the game is going on or during the play, both of them are enemies. But the second line says that off the board we are friends. That means when the game is over or before the beginning of game or after the game over, that means while they are not playing chess, so they are friends. Listen carefully. When they play chess, both of them are enemies. But when the game is over or when they don't play, so on that time both of them are friends. Next line. On the board there is never peace. That means as they are playing, as the game is going on, so in that time or during the playing, there is never peace on the board. There is never peace on the board. Only what? There is war. There is fight. There is no peace on the board. But of the board, I hope for peace that never ends. But while they are not playing or while the game is not going on, so the poet says that the peace he hopes that never ends. That means that much peace he gets because both of them are either family members or the friends. So in this stanza, it is said that on the board, both are enemies. Both in the sense the player and the player of the opposite team. They are enemies, but when the game is over, they are the best friends. And the poet also says that on the board there is never peace because there is always fight and war. There is no peace. But off the board, but when the game is over, the poet hopes that the peace he gets never ends. At last, at the fifth stanza, I like to think chess is a courteous game. I play with family and friends. I like to think chess is a peaceful game. Nobody gets hurt when it ends. In the fifth stanza, again the poet repeats that. He thinks that chess is a courteous game. It is a polite game. And he plays with his family and his friends. And in the sense, the poet thinks that chess is a peaceful game because nobody gets hurt when it ends. That means when the game ends, and when game over, nobody get hurt or nobody get injury. That's why he says that, or according to him, or he has entitled the poem as the peaceful game. And the poet of this poem is Nathan J. Goldberg. Nathan J. Goldberg. Hope all of you understood better.